I believe that if we are honest with ourselves, that the most fascinating problem in the world is who am I? What do you mean? What do you feel when you say the word I? I, myself.
I want to fly the train! I don't give a fuck! Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on, man?
¿Qué piensas en esta forma? Esto no es un mensaje que sentimiento.
Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on? I don't give a fuck! Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, can't get out of this! Oh, jeez. What's going on?
I think that I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swings up and bites you on the ass.
Psych, just kidding. My new catchphrase is, I don't give a fuck!
It's asking a lot to believe that the problem is going to fix itself.
Guess what, bitch?
Our technology and our numbers have both reached a state where inadvertently we can pose a danger to the global environment, especially through the atmosphere.
The whales have a 15-foot penis. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
Now, nobody pretends we understand everything about the global climate.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Google it yourself.
There are feedbacks, some of which you warm the Earth a little bit, and the tendency will be to further increase the temperature, so-called positive feedback.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fucking fire.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. I don't give a
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Definitely have the mic on. Well, heathens, tonight we are going to be going over Sean McDowell's evidence for the Old Testament, specifically archaeological evidence. Now, it's presented, this video at least, is presented as being able to provide 4 pieces of archaeological evidence that prove that the Old Testament is true. Now, obviously, we can throw out a number of things in the Old Testament, most namely the most magical things like global floods, Adam and Eve being the ones that fucked each other into the human population and stuff. We could disregard a lot of those things, but what Sean McDowell is going to do is try to come at it from a more crap. So sorry about that. Notifications are on. For some reason, it's not popping up on the screen right now. I don't know why.
Here.
Yeah, like they're not visible. They are coming up. Let me see if I. For some reason, it's not coming up on the main camera. Okay, but anyways, Sean's going to be bringing up 4 pieces of archaeological evidence that are supposed to prove that the events of the Old Testament are true. So, if you guys want to know how Sean McDowell fails to do this, then please stay tuned. All right, so apparently I had the notifications turned off for the main camera scene. So there's your technical problems with GE.
Didn't I specifically ask you about those before the stream started?
I know, but I looked at my sources and it said, "Hey, they're initial, or they're showing," but apparently they weren't. So anyways, I got those coming, those up now. So I'm so sorry about those that did super chats that didn't get to hear your special messages. We got Uhan Roderick first. It says dibs on first because I can. That's right there, Uhan. You are first. Quentin Van Boven says, sending in my weekly tithe. Hope you had a good week, GE. And just so that everybody knows, Quentin definitely reserved a seat on the highway to hell in order to send that tweet. Jason Kinnaman says, #atheist. Hell yeah. I Heart Dog says, are you in Alabama? Why are you an hour behind EDT? Because I'm in Alabama. I'm in North Alabama. I'm in Central Time Zone. So
we didn't make them up.
We hate the time zones too. Okay. But anyways, so if this is your first time watching a live stream here on the Godless Engineer channel, the proceeds that we make off this channel, a portion of the proceeds, like the super chats, memberships, and just people viewing the content here in general, a portion of that's going to go to a charity each month. This month, we're going to be donating to a couple of LGBTQ charities. We normally make sure that we research the charities, make sure that they don't spend too much on overhead, and that they spend a considerable amount on providing services to the demographic that they are targeting. So, if you want to help us do some good and be a shitty person just like all the rest of us here, then consider becoming a member, or sending a super chat, or going down into the description and look at some of the t-shirts. And we've got a deal with Extra Wallets where you can get some percentage off. And so if you guys want to go down there and check out what we got, it all goes to, a portion of all of it goes to helping out a charity each month. So with all of that out of the way, do y'all know what's first?
Today I learned.
Yes, damn it. Hold on.
You have to tell him why it wasn't a station.
So, as you all know, you probably don't know. It was my dad's birthday this week, so he traditionally sings me happy birthday over the phone. Terribly. And so I decided to do it, but also with a uke. So I had it somewhere else. I sing terribly. Yes, honey. Thank you. All right. Another super chat from Uhan Roderick says, do bad things with this, please. Oh, we will do naughty things with that. All right. Let's see. Yes, today I learned.
Apparently they...
Today I learned. I'm sorry, hon. What? Woohoo!
Apparently they still can't hear the sounds from notifications. They can see them now, but they can't.
Yeah, I just fixed that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry, thought I had the desktop stuff unmuted, but apparently it was muted.
Which I also asked about.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't unmute it like during the intro song. So, I mean, it's...
Okay.
Anyways, so first up is Today I Learned. And it's a pretty sad thing, first up on Today I Learned, that the amount of heat the Earth traps has doubled in just 15 years. Approximately 90% of this excess energy from this imbalance ends up in the ocean, and warming ocean temperatures lead to acidification impacting fish and other marine biodiversity. It also leads to a number of other really bad things. Like, for one thing, God is going to erase Florida at some point, most of Florida at least.
I mean, really, are many people going to be upset about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think Miami's definitely fucked, so I think there's a lot of people there.
I mean, they're just gonna have to.
They're just gonna have to move inland. The funniest thing that I've seen on this particular topic has been like, it was a TikTok that I saw where somebody was like, "You can just move." And that's how you get away from the rising sea levels. And it's like,
eventually they're gonna have to.
Well, I mean, he's talking about selling your house and your property now in order to move away from it. It's like, who the fuck is gonna buy it when it's under goddamn water?
Well, nobody by then. That's why you sell it now.
Nobody's gonna want to buy that plot of land when it's gonna be underwater.
People
like, that's a bad investment. I mean, anyways. But in any case, this is a really bad thing. It's definitely something that's only going to get worse because conservatives are dipshits. They think the Green New Deal is going to somehow like destroy the economy instead of allowing us to have an economy for however long this earth will last. And it's so fucking ridiculous. Every time I hear conservative dipshits talk about how global warming isn't a thing, it just makes me want to slap them in the face violently. Like, even more violently than a slap in the face already is. May the power of Christ compel you to get the fuck out of here. Dead TBiase got exorcised. Ted DiBiase says, my favorite part of this channel is technical issues with GE. Here's some money for Bama gas station taters.
No.
We don't get taters from gas stations.
We don't get.
Oh, man. Anyways, all right. So that's going to be the first Today I Learned. And then we've got... this one, which is pretty interesting. We've got researchers. Today I learned that researchers focused on mental health benefits associated with playing video games to address symptoms of depression and anxiety found that video games show promise as inexpensive, readily accessible, internationally available, effective, and stigma-free resources for mitigation of mental health issues. So it seems ridiculous to me how a lot of people want to paint video games as causing, violent shootings and everything like that, especially when they're internationally available and no other country has a gun problem, like a gun violence problem like we do, but yet somehow video games only negatively affect us. That's some bullshit right there. As far as I can tell, the research, at least as it's presented here, seems like video games can be very effectively used to improve the mental health of people. I don't know why people would want to get rid of something that could be good in that particular way, but also they're just video games. God damn. All right. And then finally on Today I learned a little bit of history, that many people in ancient Rome who were among the educated elite were aware that lead was poisonous. And some of these people even tried to make others aware of this. So it's kind of sad that they knew all the way back then, but for some reason, shit just didn't get communicated properly. All right. Well, let's see. That's going to be it for the Today I Learned. But
Jesus Christ.
I'm getting violent. Next up is comments of the day. Prepare to facepalm yourself in the next week. I got some real doozies today. And the first thing that I really want to address is a new conspiracy theory that's kind of cropped up. It's a bit tangential to something that had been popping up, but they've just taken it to a completely new level that is rather ridiculous. So this person says, is whatever's making people magnetic also in the meat we eat? Is that how some non-vaxxed are showing similar results? Is it all nonsense? Easy one to test. I'm vegetarian, so would love to know if anyone tried sticking a magnet to their dinner.
That is the first thing I do when I finish cooking or get my dinner.
Yeah.
Is I check to see if it's magnetized.
You just throw a magnet at it?
I mean, I don't throw it. I don't think that's necessary.
Have y'all seen the video? I think it's on TikTok a lot, but where people throw cheese at people's foreheads?
Yes, that's an old. You know, the funniest ones are when they put it.
Yeah. Cheese is magnetic. It's not the meat. Cheese is magnetic. Okay? That anytime anything sticks to your head or your arm or anything like that, like, look. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this to stick. This remote is magnetic. There's no way it's just the sweat from my brow that's keeping it there, causing an increase in friction that makes it stay in place. No, this motherfucking piece of plastic is goddamn magnetic. But anyways, there's more.
Zod said tape is hella magnetic.
Tape is magnetic. That little, y'all know that sticky putty shit? That's fucking magnetic. So this dumbass person said, okay, are we at the precipice now? Can we all wake up now? I can't believe my eyes. Someone said their entire package of non-GMO tofu was magnetic. Tofu! Someone please help. It's just meat, right? Right? No, obviously it's filled with metal shavings, you dipshit. Woo, fair money. Hey, look, Uhan Roderick, TikTok lied to me. I was supposed to get 5G and became magnetic for my vaccine. I need to speak to Pfizer's manager. You're a Vax Karen now there, Uhan? Seems like a natural progression in general. So, I mean, it just seems a little weird here because they just have like a magnet that's sitting on top of a piece of meat. I guess maybe they got it at an angle. You can't really tell from this picture.
If you turn it at an angle, the meat will fall off the fucking plate.
It's in the package.
Oh.
Somebody else made, let's see, right here. This is how somebody tested. Okay, so first they start out with, my friend bought groceries. I tested the meat. The magnet stuck! Up here's whatever is magnetic in the vax. Magnets stick to vax site is our meat supply too. How did you conduct this very scientific test, good person? I took a fridge magnet and laid it on a package of fresh meat. Beef strips in a saran wrap styrofoam package, and packaged by supermarket held vertically at 90 degrees. The magnet did not fall off. Now, I feel like the saran wrap around the outside of it kind of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know about my saran wrap science, but I feel like saran wrap is very clingy. Last time I checked, that shit was incredibly clean. Like, you try to pull it off, and like you get one tab that's stuck underneath it, and then it just gets all fucked up, and you got to tear off a whole brand new piece. The shit's sticky to begin with. It's no wonder that some kind of little magnet that you fucking put on your fridge stuck to the motherfucker. And I like how all of these anti-vax people that think that they're magnetic now, like, they're like, oh, is it in everything now? It's like, no, it's called friction, motherfucker. It's like, friction is everywhere. It's a conspiracy.
Also, it's bizarre because it's like animals don't get the vaccine.
Animals don't?
No.
Oh, for the meat to be magnetic?
Yes, they're trying to connect meat being magnetic to the vaccine.
Well, no, so the insinuation here, at least the only way that it makes sense to me, is that they're insinuating that during the processing of meat, they introduce whatever similar magnetic chemicals are in vaccines into the meat. And so it's like a big conspiracy that the government is like poisoning or tainting our food products, because it's not only in meat, it's also in tofu where it sticks. I would also like to note that friction is also everywhere too. And so also water cohesion, like the cohesion of water in general, the ability of water molecules to hold something into place is also universal. Magnetism's universal. That's right, honey. Fuck me for thinking otherwise. All right, next up on this train wreck is the transformed wife. She says, in our feminized culture that has invaded the church, it's easier to teach women how their husbands should be treating them rather than teaching them how they are commanded to treat their husbands. Women hate being taught what to do, even if it's biblical, and they're believers. My response to this, which I quote tweeted it on Twitter, I just simply said, well, fuck us for teaching men that they should treat women with dignity and respect instead of teaching women that they are the problem. Fuck me, I guess. The transformed wife is a really horrible person that she limits her tweets on Twitter to where only she can respond to them because she never quotes anybody in it. She never tags anybody in it. And so she limits her tweets to only people that she mentions. She's the only person that's ever mentioned in these tweets. So only she can respond to them. But it's so fucking ridiculous that this is how their brains work. That we have to teach women that they are the problem. I mean, there's so many multiple pastors out there that have done entire sermons on how women are to blame for their sexual assaults. They will often compare a woman that's a victim of a sexual assault to a dirty rag or some shit like that. Or just, in general, a woman that has had sex before marriage to a dirty rag or some kind of dirty, broken thing. And it's just so emotionally toxic that it gets me in that mindset where I just want to slap a bitch. All right, a little bit less serious of a comment here. It was left today on the channel, and I was a little not appalled by it, but I was a little surprised that they went this direction with it. They said, garbage. JWW is brilliant. Hope to meet him either here or in heaven. For one thing, J. Warner Wallace is not brilliant. Number two, if I'm assuming that he was a cold case detective. It's if his detective skills are similar to the skills that he uses to prove that Jesus rose from the dead in the first century, he was a really shitty detective. He is in no way brilliant, and every apologetic that he uses is the absolute worst apologetics you could use to prove anything about God or Christianity. Also, I hope that you don't meet him in heaven, or it's that long. I don't know why they fantasize or fetishize dying. I get that he's not necessarily doing that here, but that's the feeling that I get from it, is that he's just fetishizing that, well, if I don't meet him here, I'll definitely meet him after I die. If there is a heaven, I really hope J. Warner Wallace doesn't have a book signing line up there. This one's good. Jesus is an alien and we are all the sons of God. Oh, bring that crazy Christian shit. This is just really fucking crazy, right? I don't know where they would get the whole idea that Jesus is an alien. That's just fucking, that's nutty. And I'm a mythicist, and people call me crazy and fringe all the time, but this comment's just kind of whoa, dude, quit snorting zeitgeist for a minute and just, you know, actually read some scholarship on anything. And then finally, we have someone that's a little mad about having to wear a mask. I was forced to wear a mask for 3 hours for a mortgage license test that I could not reschedule. It was the first time I've worn a mask during the entire pandemic. I developed low blood pressure, headaches, and a loss of consciousness. I had to wait 30 minutes before driving. Anyone who says this is safe is lying. You know,
This person is an ignorant bitch.
yes, this person is a very ignorant person, but I find it hilarious how after 3 hours of wearing it, they developed low blood pressure, which people don't, headaches, loss of consciousness, like they lost consciousness. I'm not sure this person understands that there are like surgical teams that do surgery for, you know, 8 hours at a time.
Longer.
And longer. And they wear a mask the entire time. I don't hear about a lot of physicians, like, or surgeons rather, dropping unconscious like in the middle of a surgery. Just all of this shit is just fear-mongering bullshit that's not even true.
I had to wear a mask for 5 entire days in the hospital. And I mean, I survived.
Yeah, but you lost consciousness a few times.
I mean, I fell asleep.
Well, you know, that's technically losing consciousness.
Unbelievable.
Did you have a toe ache?
What?
Did your toes hurt?
No, my toes were fine.
Oh, okay. We got Uhan Roderick, who says it was a chloroform rag, not a mask. Woo! That's KC's money.
This is my money.
It is your money, honey.
Woo!
Well, that's going to be it for all of the comments tonight. I wasn't able to get a shitty ass science, so I think what we're going to do is just go directly on into the video response. And it's kind of a short video, but we got a lot to discuss with it, so we're just going to head on over there. I'm so sorry, but I've got to read this comment by Cadence. If I can wear a gag for 4+ hours, she can wear a damn cloth mask for 3.
That is fair.
Fair point there, Cadence. All right, so like I said, we've got a lot to go over in this video. He brings up 4 pieces of evidence. My goal is to show you how one, the information that he's giving you isn't exactly correct. 2, the information that he gives you doesn't point to anything being true about the Old Testament. So we're going to look at what his evidence supposedly is, and it was actually kind of new to me, some of these pieces of evidence. So it's going to be interesting to see where it all goes. But we got I Heart Dog says for the stupid lying video. Going to hell. You're going to hell for this stupid lying video? It is a little bit. Listen, donating this much money only secures your seat in hell. That's fucking right. Way to go. Anyways, all right, let's do this.
Is there any archaeological support of the Old Testament? Well, actually,
before he gets into it, I want to answer this question on my own. There's no archaeological support for the Old Testament. It really kind of depends on what you mean by this question, right? Because if you mean support of the Old Testament in that there are certain names and places that the Old Testament gets right, and things of that nature, very minor things that don't really speak to the truth of the Old Testament, then there are some things that you can cite that support the Old Testament. Like, for instance, we do have some physical evidence, some archaeological evidence that there was a King David at some point. But beyond like some names, some places, and things like that, we don't have any archaeological evidence that supports the Old Testament, and that's just the physical evidence that we have. And if you want to go into the textual evidence, we have textual evidence that suggests that the first 5 books of the Bible were definitely not written by Moses. It was actually written by a number of authors that edited together earlier documents in order to get the Pentateuch. And, then we have, all the other books in the Old Testament that either record stuff that never happened or claim to be writing in somebody's name or about somebody, and that somebody didn't even exist. So the Old there's nothing like archaeologically that would solidly support the Old Testament as being true in any other sense other than just getting some names and places correct.
There's hundreds of findings. So, for example, recently an inscription was found of the name Goliath that dates to the place and time of the biblical story. We also found...
No, so he goes through a couple of these rather quickly. So the first one is the Goliath pottery shard, right? On that shard, there are 2 names that are inscribed. Initially, when they found it, they thought that it said Goliath, but it actually did not say Goliath. In fact, I've got it on my phone here. It's like AWLT is the first one, and then 3 other letters over there. Now, the first one, this AWLT in Hebrew, it kind of looks like it might be Goliath. But the problem is that it's not Goliath. Goliath is spelled one way, and that way is not the AWLT that they found on the pottery stone. But also, or the pottery shard. But also, another interesting fact here is that the account of David slaying Goliath was actually changed, because originally it wasn't David that slew the Goliath, it was some other guy. I'm not sure what happened there with that notification, but I saw that Daniel M says, David says, good night. We're possibly going trail riding tomorrow if it's not too hot. Awesome. That sounds pretty awesome there, David and Daniel. Hope y'all have fun doing that. Did I mean Goliath? Yes, I did mean Goliath. Yes. So today, a majority of scholars believe that the original listed killer of Goliath was Elhanan, son of Jair.
Just a little bit of money.
The authors, it's supposed that the authors of Deuteronomic history changed the original text to credit the victory to the more famous character of David. So this one's kind of doubly false. For one thing, the pottery shard does not say Goliath. On another aspect, the original killer of Goliath was not even David. So in no sense could this pottery shard prove anything about the Bible. Even if that one word had said Goliath, just because somebody scribbled a name on a piece of pottery does not prove that Goliath was slain by David, or that Goliath even existed. That could just be some kind of weird fucking name that somebody just decided to write down or something like that. Like maybe I'm gonna call my son this shit kind of thing. So in no way could this pottery shard at all be considered evidence for the Old Testament. So he's got 4 pieces of evidence, 1 down. He's got 3 to go to be able to prove anything in the Old Testament. Well, we could just disregard proving the entire Old Testament. We can throw that out right now. He can prove solidly 1 event that happened in the Old Testament. We'll consider that a win on his end.
I don't know if y'all know this, but every time you donate, the Lord cries.
Shit, I Heart Dogs making God cry? Says meant to add presentation on my super chat earlier. Oh, for the stupid lying video presentation. Kevin Beeler just sent a poop emoji. That's how I feel about this video too there, Kevin. All right, let's continue with this. He's got his next piece of evidence here.
Story. We also found in an ancient stele in the 1990s a reference to the house of David called the Tel Dan Inscription. It roughly dates to the place and time that the biblical chronology would suggest.
So this is the one thing that I kind of caveated earlier, that there was a King David. But the problem that Sean McDowell makes in this video is that he uses the fact that somebody wrote down about King David or just mentioned King David, and then that means all of the biblical stories about King David are true. That's at least what he's insinuating here. And just because there was a King David does not mean any of the stories about King David are true. Just like what we saw with the Goliath shard. Well, other than the fact that it doesn't say Goliath, but that the original or the Deuteronomic historical editors or whatever actually replaced the original killer of Goliath with, David, who was a more powerful figure, a more important figure to this whole narrative that they're telling with the Old Testament. So he makes the fallacy of I believe it's called composition. Let me make sure that's right. The error of assuming that what is true of a member of a group is true for that group of a whole. So in this particular situation, he's using the fact that the Bible names King David and that there's archaeological evidence for a King David, and he's assuming that all the stories told about King David in the Bible are true based on the fact that a King David existed. And that's the problem with his logic here. So he had 3, and now we're just down to 2 because this cannot be counted for a win, because we're looking for the events or some kind of portion of the Bible that's true more than just getting a name correct, right? Or accurately relaying a name. We're looking for any kind of truth about the events of the Old Testament.
So David was not just a literary figure. He actually existed. Another example is called Hezekiah's tunnel. This is one of my favorites. In the Old Testament, it describes that King Hezekiah needed to route water outside the city of Jerusalem, so he built this massive tunnel. Well, years ago, towards the beginning of the 1900s, people actually discovered this tunnel. And the architecture of it, since it goes through this hard, like bedrock, is unbelievable. We still don't know to this day exactly how they started from 2 sides and met right in the middle. I have walked through Hezekiah's tunnel, which is a testament to that story and to the historical existence of Hezekiah.
Well, so Well, yeah, it's not technically called Hezekiah's tunnel, by the way. Let's see, I still have it pulled up on it right here. It's actually called the let me get the back up. The Siloam Tunnel is technically what it's called. And recent, initially this was, of course, attributed to Hezekiah, just because of how the tunnel is situated and how in, I believe it's Samuel, might be the book of Samuel. I'm not sure about that. Wherever it's mentioned, wherever Hezekiah is mentioned in the Bible, he talks about this tunnel that he built, or how he stopped up the water in order to prevent the invading forces from having access to water. But the problem is that the most recent scholarship on this has suggested that the date, for one, is wrong for when this was actually built. And that's due to the pottery that was found in the tunnel. And then that means that it couldn't have been Hezekiah that built the tunnel. At no point is there anywhere in the tunnel inscribed the name Hezekiah. One of the things that's true that he said was that they don't know how the Israelites tunneled from from both ends of the tunnel. They tunneled and they met each other in the middle. They don't know how they were able to do that, but they speculate that it was probably, hitting hammers on the ground above the tunnel so that the people that were digging the tunnel could hear it. And I mean, we use that in a much more grand way in order to image like what's under the ground whenever somebody's trying to drill or somebody's trying to find oil or something like that. Like, you'll have these giant trucks that just beat on the ground, causing not pressure waves, but it causes waves, and you can use that to detect what's underneath the ground. And that's what it's speculated as to the method that they were able to build it. But like I said, the most recent scholarship has actually shown that the tunnel that he's mentioning is much older than Hezekiah's reign. And so it was probably most likely already there before Hezekiah took the throne, if he ever really did exist. So to kind of summarize on this particular thing, at nowhere in the tunnel is Hezekiah's name inscribed. People just assumed that it was Hezekiah's tunnel due to the description in the Bible. The actual tunnel name is the Siloam Tunnel, and there's no indication whatsoever, either through other archaeological evidence in the area or whatnot, that Hezekiah was the one that built it. But yet Sean McDowell here is just ready to say, oh, because this tunnel matches the description of the one in the Bible, that means that Hezekiah is a real person. And I don't know about the historicity of Hezekiah. I'm not trying to speculate on that, but just given the evidence that he's presented here in this video, I would be very skeptical as to whether or not Hezekiah was a real person. This just simply doesn't prove anything about the Bible. But just for argument's sake, let's just assume that Hezekiah did have this tunnel built for the reasons that are specified in the Bible. Does that mean anything at all for the stories surrounding Hezekiah in the Bible, other than the fact that there was a siege and he had to build the tunnel in the way that he did? Although, like I said, modern scholarship says that was probably a different location that he actually did that at, because there was a second tunnel that was actually found in the area, and so it quite possibly could be that tunnel that Hezekiah or that was talked about in the Bible with Hezekiah doing it. So I really don't see any kind of archaeological significance of this find as far as confirming anything about the Old Testament. So he had 2, now he's just down to 1. This is your last chance there, Sean. You've got one more piece of evidence to convince us that anything about the Old Testament's true.
Another example that you've heard of is called the Dead Sea Scrolls. Some would say this is the greatest archaeological finding of all time. There are multiple caves in the area called Qumran that's in Israel. And they found over 900 different manuscripts or pottery or copper, different shards of different sizes in different places that attest to the Old Testament books and some other books that the Essenes, the community who had them, preserved, and then they hid when the Romans were coming in to destroy Jerusalem and beyond. They were discovered in the middle of the 20th century. And just one finding is called the Great Isaiah Scroll. Now, the scroll dates to about 150 BC, which means this was written down before the New Testament.
Ooh, wow, written down before. Yes, I would definitely expect Old Testament documents to be written before the New Testament was written. Anyways, he's using the Dead Sea Scrolls as evidence of anything being true in the Old Testament or supporting the Old Testament. The best that we can really say is that the Old Testament was reliably transmitted through history by the the community that was responsible for preserving them after they came into sort of their final form. You know, this doesn't at all address the fact of how these documents would have changed from their first inception to when they were finally put together in like the Jewish Bible or the complete Old Testament. So he's again doing a fallacy of composition here. The fact that these Dead Sea Scrolls were found, that they confirm the reliable transmission of some Old Testament texts, and that shows that they were what he would call faithfully preserved. They were just accurately preserved. And
do we know that they were accurate?
Well, we can compare those texts to other texts that date before it, and there's not much difference there.
Okay.
But they generally will say that because of this, because they were transferred faithfully or accurately in some kind of way, that speaks to the truth of what the documents say. And this is just fallacious as fuck, because just because it was transmitted accurately does not mean that what was written down is true. And to use this as some kind of evidence that suggests that the Old Testament is accurate to like history or to reality is just fucking ridiculous. While we can determine what people changed or if they didn't change, that does not speak at all to the truth value of what is there. And Sean is just using really bad arguments, really bad evidence in order to suggest that the Old Testament is supported by archaeological evidence. He had 4 chances. The Goliath shard was a bullshit piece of evidence. And then the next one was the David inscription. While true, the Bible does mention David, the archaeological evidence for David doesn't confirm any of the stories that are told about David. So that's kind of bullshit. And then there's the Hezekiah tunnel, which really isn't called Hezekiah's tunnel. It's the Shalom or not Shalom, but Siloam, whatever, tunnel that does not mention Hezekiah. And in fact, the pottery that was found in the tunnel show that it actually dates earlier than Hezekiah's supposed reign in the Bible. So that's not evidence. And then finally, the Dead Sea Scrolls, not evidence that what is contained in the Old Testament is true.
Testament. So we have the prophecies of Jesus being born of a virgin, of Jesus doing miracles, etc., long before the New Testament was written.
And this does not, that doesn't set off a red flag for you, Sean. The fact that, Jesus's virgin birth, where he was born, the events of his life and everything like that, prophesized in the Old Testament, written in at least 150 BC and older, obviously, written way before the New Testament was ever written. You think that that it's more likely a Jew resurrected from the dead, or that Jesus actually went around and did everything that's literally in the Gospels, you believe that over they just read the Old Testament and they made shit up to invent the New Testament. It baffles me. It's like somebody picking up like the Deathly Shadows book in the Harry Potter series and being just fucking amazed that they were able to get everything right that was contained in the other 6 fucking books of the Harry Potter series. It's that fucking ridiculous to me.
Was written. But it also showed we had the Dead Sea Scrolls. Before then, we had what was called the Masoretic text. There was about a 1,000-year gap. And this was 1,000 years earlier than any copy we had. So the question was, how close was the Masoretic text from the Dead Sea Scrolls? And in the book of Isaiah, it was over 99% the same.
Okay, that still does not show that the book of Isaiah is accurate to history. Especially with the whole idea of the prophetic nature of the book of Isaiah, which, to be fair, the book of Isaiah is prophetic for Jesus in like chapters 52 and 53, and then some other sparse places elsewhere in it. But the majority of the book of Isaiah is not about Jesus. We got Quentin Van Boven who says,
Woo! Bear money!
so does this mean the Avengers is real because New York is a real place and they mention real people? Hot damn, of course it is! The Avengers are real, guys. We need to prepare. Well, I don't know. Thanos isn't coming back. He's fucking dead. So I guess we need to prepare for the multiverse, right? Which is kind of odd that Quentin mentions this about the Avengers because he is a pretty diehard Marvel fan.
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this, but every time you donate, the Lord cries.
Thank you, Lisa, for the truth, who says, how about starting the Church of Venom? That would be interesting. I think that you'd actually have picketers for that. People picketing the Church of Venom. This is demonic. Don't go here. We don't ask for your money. We don't judge you at all. We just say, don't be a dick. Oh, really? Do I have to worry about my kids getting diddled here? Fuck no. We're not that kind of organization.
The same. And the differences were just words that had changed in meaning over time. This is a remarkable find that says the Old Testament has been preserved reliably. There's many other findings of this, and there's...
Well, then why don't you mention those findings? Because all of these are shit. What on earth does Isaiah being reliably transmitted through history say about the truth value of the book of Isaiah? It doesn't. The fact that the book of Isaiah has prophecies about the Messiah seem to indicate that there's a way more likely of a chance that the New Testament, at least the stories about Jesus, are fucking made up. That people like Paul, who read the Old Testament like a motherfucker, came up with certain, I guess, teachings of Jesus that he put down in his books. And he was laying down a new form of Judaism based on what the Old Testament was saying about the Messiah that was to come. And for Paul, at least, the Messiah had come. He had just come, died, and resurrected, and then appeared to people, is what we get from Paul. So it just seems to me like he is making these logical leaps. I normally see these kinds of leaps in logic in like the cosmological argument because, like with the Kalam cosmological argument, they have, their 3 points that end up with, therefore the universe had a cause, and apparently that cause is God. But you see, that last little bit there is a huge leap from something caused the universe to inflate to God was specifically that cause. In the same fashion, Sean McDowell in this video is saying, well, the book of Isaiah was reliably transmitted over this 1,000-year period. Therefore, the book of Isaiah is true and the Old Testament is true because it shows that it was reliably transmitted. At no point does it speak to the truth value of the Old Testament. None of the other pieces of evidence that he presented speak to the truth value of the Old Testament or anything about the events of the Old Testament. I wish he would have brought up these hundreds of other pieces of archaeological evidence that show that the Old Testament's true. Here's a little bit of a bonus thing from my side of this, is that archaeological evidence shows that the numbers reported in the book of Numbers is total bullshit. At that point in time, the Israelites, being that they were just a small offshoot from the Canaanites, they didn't have the numbers that are reported in the book of Numbers. How can you have a whole fucking book about the numbers of your people and you inflate them like 100-fold? Oh, well, it makes sense if you're trying to bullshit people into thinking you're some kind of great fucking nation. Sorry, this kind of bullshittery really pisses me off.
And there's some things we haven't yet found. But as a whole, the archaeological remains are one powerful way of saying we can trust the Old Testament as being true.
So that's it. It's a really short video. But I mean, this was produced last year, and so he was in the habit of producing these really short, to the point videos. I've actually somewhat started to do that on my secondary channel that I've been posting on the community tab, where I've been taking out small portions of videos that make
Maybe you should quit drinking all that beer, GE.
where I make very concise points about different topics. So I don't have a link or anything like that. It's just Godless Engineer Shorts. If you type my name into YouTube search, you'll be able to find it. But the fact is that none of the evidence provided tonight by Sean McDowell prove the Old Testament to be true. He fails to accomplish the one task he says that he could do. But yet there's hundreds of other pieces of archaeological evidence to prove that the Old Testament's true. If that's true, then you need to sift through that pile of bullshit, and you need to pull out better arguments or better pieces of evidence, because the bullshit you presented here tonight does not at all speak to the truth value of the events of the Old Testament or anything about the Old Testament, other than they got one name right. They were accurately able to describe a tunnel, and then the Old Testament was transmitted reliably. Junie the Apostate says, if anyone has read anything from H.G. Wells...
Listen, donating this much money only secures your seat in hell.
Some of the things felt like predictions and came to be. Does that make him a prophet and his books true?
Yes.
Obviously, H.G. Wells is a prophet. But anyways, let's get back to our main camera here. All in all, for this video tonight, I found it really unpersuasive. I don't think that anybody should be persuaded by the evidence that he presents. Whenever you encounter these types of videos, I feel like people just need to sit back and really think about, what does this evidence prove? Does this solidly connect one thing to another? If it doesn't, like for instance with the tunnel, there's nothing that connects it to Hezekiah other than the fact that the Bible says that Hezekiah built that tunnel. That's the only connection that exists there. A tunnel, sorry. A tunnel, not that particular tunnel. The tunnel's not named after Hezekiah. We didn't find any kind of naming on the tunnel, scribbled into the walls, or anything like that. The pottery dates it to being older than Hezekiah's supposed reign. Does this really prove that Hezekiah had that tunnel built? No. And you could do that with any of these pieces of evidence. Anytime they come up with these archaeological evidence, you need to find the thing that solidly places it in a position to support whatever claim the Bible is making. And I feel like all the archaeological evidence that we find continuously points us away from the Bible being true. And I think that if you look at the actual archaeological evidence, that is what you will find too. Well, that's going to be it for the video tonight. I hope that you heathens enjoyed this really kind of short look at the archaeological evidence that supports the Old Testament, or well, rather doesn't support the Old Testament. If you will, please go down below, leave me a comment with what you thought about Sean McDowell's evidence here. Do you think that he had solid pieces of evidence and I'm wrong? Or do you think that they were shit, like I obviously thought they were? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. We are about to go into the Skeptic Mafia comments, which, if you're unaware, we have memberships here on the channel. And we use a portion of the memberships to donate to a charity each month. So if you want to help us be the shittiest people on earth, definitely become a member and you get access to a bunch of sweet perks. I know I've missed the either last week or the last couple of weeks of the Mafioso or the Skeptic Mafia podcast, but I do have one to get up that I will be getting edited up for this next week. And we've got new videos that are going to be coming out next week. No director's cuts next week. We have fresh videos. So I hope that you'll join us then. And I guess we'll see you heathens later. Have an awesome weekend. And don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens. But don't go, because we are going to be going into the Skeptic Mafia comments. If you guys don't know, if you're part of the memberships here on the GE channel, part of the Skeptic Mafia, then you will be able to leave a comment that I will read on the Friday night video. And it looks like we got a lot of people taking up the opportunity tonight to comment, so we're gonna try to hurry up and get on into this. All right, but hopefully this time it'll actually work, because last time it did not. And I had to read it without showing the comments. Yes, it's working tonight. I updated my OBS. So first up, we got Daniel M, who says, I didn't get to see the video, but I completely missed last week because I had to work overtime. I'm sure he has bullshit arguments and bullshit reasoning, blah, 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 blah. Hey, you should join the Skeptic Mafia. Get those emojis. I think those should normal emojis for Apple and Android. The community is great, and we donate to good causes without requiring anyone to suck Jesus wang. John will tell you more. Have a good evening, fellow heathens. Yeah, you know, I don't know anything about sucking Jesus wang at all, because I am part of the Skeptic Mafia. Thank you so much there, Daniel. Next, we got Uhan Roderick, who says, not gonna lie, didn't watch this ahead of time, busy day. Just wanted to remind people to lick, flick, and poke those buttons. And thank you, Casey, GE, and Cadence, some of the best heathens and friends anyone could ask for. Thank you there, Uhan. I appreciate you being here tonight and leaving that comment there, man. Zach Clark says, heading home and can't watch live tonight. Wish me luck with my super fundamentalist family. Oh, God. That's gotta suck there, Zach. Oh, may the Lord be with you, okay, bud? Any bets on whether or not they make me go to church with them on Sunday? Oh, maybe, perhaps. Hopefully they don't read you that part in Leviticus where it's like, you know, if your son's a drunkard and curses at you, then, you know, stone him. I don't know if you do any of those things, but I would definitely be a bit nervous around my parents if stoning was on the table for anything that I did.
You know, I decided a long time ago that nobody gonna make me go to church. I know a lot of people go with their family because their families make them, and I'm like, I mean, I get it if you live at home and you don't really have a choice, but
no. I remember back before I became an atheist, I was like, I should be a better Christian. I should go to church every Sunday, and I will make my son or daughter go to church every Sunday too. Fucking gnats. Yeah, that didn't go so well. I never want to subject, you know, any family member of mine to church. Vanta Blue says, meh, just meh. It's not even fun to retort to him, just meh. Kevin Beeler says, damn, I gotta work at the top of the hour, but I'm gonna try to listen on my phone. Kevin was here tonight. I hope that you liked it there, bud. Michael W. Roble says, what can you say about Sean McDowell, other than he is a leading proponent of intelligent design? Need I say more? No. That about says it all. Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I feel like it's the arrogance that really gets me. The arrogance of all of these intelligent design people that think that, oh, I'm definitely correct, even though all of the science says that I'm wrong, because I have a book called the Bible. Let's see. Kevin Beeler also said that I'm no expert, but how does he know without a doubt that all those great archaeological findings are evidence of the Old Testament? Is finding a few Native American arrowheads in the desert proof of Montezuma and his revenge? Yeah, if you don't know what Montezuma's revenge is, if if you ever travel to Mexico, don't drink faucet water. Always buy bottled water and drink that, because you're not acclimated to the like the microorganisms that would be in the faucet water, and you'll get the shits for days. You'll get dysentery. So just, don't drink the faucet water. And it's not because it's like Mexico or anything. It's just because it's a different country with, different microorganisms and shit that will make you shit yourself to death. Jane Pusecker says, I have recently subscribed to his channel after watching a video where he went to a university and pretended to be a Christian, and he did amazingly well. Or you mean pretended to be an atheist? He pretended to be an atheist. And I watched a little bit of that. I really wasn't all that impressed by it. It kind of lost my interest. When I found out his father wrote the book, Evidence That Demands a Verdict, I had no idea that was his father. I remember one of my former churchianity Christian friends recommend his father's book to me, but I never read it, never read fully, only flipped through a few pages of the book, put it back on the shelf. Despite the fact that I feel like he is one of the more grounded and honest YouTube apologists, I don't feel he will give in-depth evidence, even though there is archaeological evidence for certain things in the Bible. It's minimal at best. Nevertheless, I'm interested to see what he has to say and how he presents his evidence. I don't feel like Sean McDowell has any good arguments or evidence for his faith or for Christianity in general or for God. So, I don't know. That's just my take on it. I'm regularly not impressed with apologetic arguments for any of that stuff. So, thank you so much, Jane, for leaving your comment, though. Cadence says, that's the best? Bless your little heart. That's, if y'all don't know, that's Southern for calling somebody stupid. Quentin Van Boeven says, so his main evidence seems to be all the stuff that could have influenced each other. The names carved in rock, cool, bro, but the stories were being passed down orally for a long time. Not too hard to believe someone carved them in stones. The tunnel being real may have just influenced the story. None of those are great proofs. It'd almost be like saying Harry Potter is real because a few things matched up with the real world. Time for the shilling. Hey y'all, have you hit that like, share, and sub button? No? Do it, or you may as well be indexing at 1, and you don't want to do that. You really don't. Don't index at 1. Never. If you can consider joining the Skeptic Mafia, we'll make it worth your time. We'll use your money for shitty things like charity that actually do good. You also get emojis, including the whale peen. And come on, who doesn't want a whale peen? Also, you can make GE say something like, I, John Gleason, firmly believe that indexing at 1 is the correct way and the only way to index. Thank you there, Quentin. Command Cyborg says, so we already know that the Old Testament exists, and it's a conglomerate of old texts, some of which describe parts of the history of people. Now, finding that some things described as being around in such a book, places, geography, people, structures, are actually isn't surprising. That some such stuff, especially for things further back in time, or stuff predicted for after the time of writing it down being wrong, is quite expected, especially, again, parts of the mythical tales of gods, heroes, and miracles. I'm pretty sure nobody, noteworthy, believe everything described as to happen to Heracles or Odysseus, or are actually true, even though Troy has been found to be an actual place. Smash all the buttons! A devil, and then a bunch of whale peens, and another devil. Transmission terminated! Thank you there, Command Cyborg. Appreciate you. Judy the Apostate says, the thing about archaeological findings is they could just be fakes to prove what? An old deity or an Old Testament? I mean, there are other gods and stories that are told through archaeological findings, but that probably won't prove them true to Christians. So why would this prove the Old Testament true? What's the difference here? I don't know. It's just more old writings that might say other things that the page-by-page Bible doesn't say. that looks a lot less than all those pages. Oh yeah, by the way, it was the aliens. I'm terrible at advertising, but here it goes. Join the Skeptic Mafia if you haven't already. You get cool badges, extras, and a vote on the next stream's video. Love you, crazies. Thank you so much there, Jenny. And that's a really good point that you made, is that we have archaeological findings that attest to a number of other different gods and other different faiths out there. Why is it that these archaeological findings show that the Old Testament, and thus the Old Testament God, to be real, but these other things are not real, even though we have the same kinds of archaeological evidence for them? That would be a really great question for Sean to never answer. Kevin Beeler also says, hey, this is the guy that gave a presentation as an atheist before a large group of students, but then he revealed himself to the students that he was just another crazy guy that believes in fairy tales. That was him. I Heart Dogs said it's old, so it must be true. That's right there, I Heart Dogs. Trickster says, I found a tunnel and named it after a biblical king, so that proves he existed. What sort of research did this guy do to prove that this tunnel is the one named in the Bible? After all, there are a lot of tunnels in the Middle East, some natural and some not. Did he actually admit that the Bible has changed over the years? One word can change the whole meaning of a sentence, paragraph, or even the meaning of the overall meaning of the writings. Like, subscribe, and share this, and maybe even join us in the Skeptic Mafia. It's a lot of fun. I agree, it is a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, you'd be really hard pressed to not admit that the Bible has changed over the years. Of course, they want to minimize it in saying that it's changed, but not in significant ways. But like Trickster says, even changing one word can have a completely different meaning. Just like in the New Testament, in Paul's writings in 1 Corinthians 15, 3-8, that's the famous Pauline Creed, right? Well, the part where it says, and then he appeared to 500, just one common spelling mistake in that particular fragment right there changes it from appeared to the 500 and changes it into
2 Timothy, what the fuck ever, shut the fuck up.
Thanks, Kevin. One common spelling mistake in that particular fragment changes it from appears to the 500 to appears over the Pentecost. And so just one small spelling mistake there, and you've got a completely different message about this 500 witnesses. So it kind of seems like these spelling errors could possibly be very important. Jonathan Nickel says, this one was short, but certainly not sweet. I am fairly sure a lot of those old findings were forgeries, or not what he claims they were. I am aware of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but that in no way proves that there is any truth to the Old Testament. It just shows that more was written down than previously realized. You demonstrate the truth of a story by testing its claims, not merely pointing to more writings. What's this? One of my comments that you didn't have to scroll through? Well, he didn't really offer much, so I didn't have to say a lot in response. I will pad this out a little more with a short announcement. I probably won't be posting my Skeptic Mafia comment next week, and certainly not the week after. I'll be spending time with the family on a week's staycation in a holiday cottage. I'll try to find the time to watch your videos whilst I'm away, and I'll be back to posting again when I return. Hey, Jonathan, we all need time off, dude. Definitely take the time off. My shit's going to be here for the foreseeable future. So, it's no skin off my back for you to take time for yourself. Definitely all of this should be put, should come in last as far as important shit for you to do. And I think that taking time for yourself as well as your family, it definitely trumps that. So, hope you have fun there, Jonathan. And I guess I'll see you whenever you can get back. The Clyde 950 says, wonder what Bible college he got his doctorate from. We got a nice storm brewing, so hopefully I can make it tonight. Hello, everyone. Hey there, Clyde. I don't know if you made it tonight, but good to see you in the comments there. Will, the Prince of Fetch, says, so does he show his evidence in a sequel video? There's nothing presented here that proves the Old Testament in any more factual than Edilus of the King. Well, so he does have another video about archaeological evidence, but it's just archaeological evidence that proves the New Testament. So maybe I can, do like a standalone video for that or something in the future. I'll definitely try to pick a meatier video for next Friday. If these really are the best ones he could scrounge up, then he should look for new work because he ain't cutting it as an apologist. Sad attempts like this make baby Jesus cry. yeah, they do. I can imagine Jesus being a bawling little baby after watching this video. Like, are you serious, man? Oh, fuck. I need smarter followers. Oh, shit. He got me. No, there isn't any archaeological evidence for the OT. There, video debunked. Next. Anyway, I know what y'all want, and since my newest ASCII won't work again, got him! And if you like seeing this kind of content, go ahead and give your phone a big lick just to make sure you lick all those yummy buttons. And go ahead and join the Skeptic Mafia.
Don't do that.
Join the Skeptic Mafia. Don't lick your phone.
Yes.
So you won't miss out on helping John pick the latest video to debunk, like this one. I didn't vote for it, but hey, it would have been my second pick. Oh, and you get to do what I'm doing right now. Comment on the videos ahead of time and get him to read whatever cockamamie bullshit you want him to read. Like, I don't know. Battlestar Galactica is just Mormonism in space, but it's still a great series, better than Star Wars anyway. Love you. I'll see you next week. Chill away. Battlestar Galactica is pretty good. Jonathan Hadjack just says, what in the fucking flying spaghetti monster did you just make me fucking watch? And then a bunch of fail whales. Then Gary White says, interesting, the one that I picked. Yeah, go ahead and throw tomatoes at me for this, y'all, tonight. Here's a fact for you. You know that George Harrison studied Hinduism. I mean, I don't know, that wouldn't surprise me, but anyways, I believe that's it for the Skeptic Mafia comments. So I think we're going to go on ahead and go back to the main thing over here. All right, awesome. Well, this was actually a pretty short night tonight. So I don't know if you guys got any questions or comments in the side chat there. Really appreciate everybody that did a super chat tonight. Trying to help us get to, being able to donate a good bit of money to a couple of LGBTQ charities this month. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much to the Skeptic Mafia for participating, for picking the video, and, for all of that. Oh, looks like we got a new member. Locreasy Cosplay became a shill. What up there, Locreasy? Looks like it's Loki.
We got a new member.
Awesome. Charisma in the Derp Soul says, so when's the next hangout going to be?
That's KC's money.
Uhan said, can you index at 3?
You didn't answer him.
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
I guess you can, Uhan, if you really want to die. But Charisma in the Derp Soul, I'm looking at my schedule, and it kind of looks like next Saturday is going to be the next day that I can. I mean, that's just the next week, the next Saturday in June. So it's going to have to be that Saturday, because the couple of weeks after that's going to be a little hectic, possibly. So looks like the 26th, 26th afternoon is probably going to be when we can do that. So Skeptic Mafia, mark your schedules for the 26th. Most likely at about probably 4 p.m. Central, I'm thinking, that afternoon. Huh? Do I have something scheduled that day?
You have to take Xander.
May the power of Christ compel you to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because remember you did.
Oh, right, yeah. So it'll be probably 5 p.m. that night or that evening. We'll do 5 p.m.
Central time.
Central time. Thank you, honey. Central time. I always forget that. Daniel M says, I always wonder what their God would say about these apologists pushing people further into atheism with their arrogance.
May the
and
power
condescension.
of Christ compel you to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't know what their God would say if he were real, but he'd probably be disappointed.
Sionian asked if I'd had to watch the House Builders more. Always.
We're on their ass 24/7. Locreasy Cosplay says Useful Charts has a good video debunking the Moses story. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check that out, Locreasy. Christmas says, but only for like 2 hours. 6 p.m. EST, I can make that work, but only for 2 hours. Well, typically we only go for about about an hour or so. So, I mean, yeah, you definitely fit it in there in 2 hours. So with the house situation is we're getting close and we have a date where we're probably going to be able to close and start scheduling people to move our asses. But it's still getting pushed out. The problem has been being able to schedule contractors to get shit done on the house. So, yeah, yes, honey, you are making them abide by the contract that both of us signed. It's so crazy that we have to consistently point out how they need to follow the contract. Dead just says the response videos that have been going back and forth. I'm not sure.
Oh, he said before, do you have any thoughts on the GMS Apologia Sean McDowell kerfuffle?
I'm Dead. I'm not exactly. I haven't really been keeping up with that. I do know that Apologia and GM Skeptic both did a collaboration video on that particular thing. I thought about saying something about him pretending to be an atheist, but I just, I don't know. It just didn't really interest me all that much. I know that both GM Skeptic and Sean McDowell talked today on a live stream on Sean's channel. So it, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it. Let's see, Cadence, playing any fun games lately? Here lately, I've been playing Biomutant, and I've really been trying to get through that and beat that so that I can move on to another game.
They said,
huh?
They said fun games. Cadence said fun games.
Fun games?
I mean, didn't you say that was not a good game?
Oh. Yeah, so I'm getting to that point. It's mediocrely fun. The Biomutant game is. It's very tedious. It's got a lot of tedious things in it, and it's fun when you're actually fighting like the major bosses and everything like that. But they pad out the game with a bunch of superfluous like puzzles and stuff that just are not all that great. Charisma of the Derp Scroll suggests the Outer Worlds. I have started playing that one, and that's gonna be one that I need to get finished, like before Outer Worlds 2 comes out. Another one that I want to get done, or I want to play and finish, is Dying Light. That's another one because they got Dying Light 2 that's coming out next month. But I also just got a box of Modern Horizons 2 for Magic the Gathering that we're in the process of opening and looking through right now. So there's just a lot of things in the spare time because I'm doing all that, but also I need to write scripts to make my videos better. So it's kind of full up here. All right, we'll see you later there, Uhan. You have a good night there, bud. I think I'm gonna go. We need to get some food in our tummies, and I guess we'll see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.